All right, let's look, we're live. What we got? About a minute to go. Hey there. People are jumping on. All right, Theodore. Supply chain. We're just getting started here, people. People are coming on. Our supply chain looks really good. There's issues across the board on shipping, on containers, on inbound, outbound, trucking. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I'm fortunate that we have a logistics department here, but young people that they just get it done. We're able to figure things out. So inventory wise, we see no issues coming into the holiday season at this point. Now we're going to probably be doing some sort of a pre-holiday promotion of some sort. I don't know. We haven't really put that together yet. We're going to be looking just to better anticipate what's going to be happening in Black Friday area. Well, all right. People are jumping on. So gun lunch. I'm going to turn my phone off because this is a people call a lot of stuff. Today's lunch is it's London broil steak salad, which is from Joey's up the street, which is it's a damn good salad. There's no way around it. It clicks all the healthy boxes. It clicks the good box. It clicks the meat box. So if you're a vegetarian and you're watching, well, you could pick around it if you get one, but. Hey, Kevin, saying hi to the Secure family. How you doing, man? So today, we're still just 2 minutes in. I want to give people a chance to jump on. If anybody ever has questions, the point of this whole thing is to be accessible. Answer questions people have. We live in I'll repeat this a lot, but certainly in America and certainly in the gun industry, most CEOs are pretty insulated. Most owners, most guys running gun companies themselves pretty effectively. They don't speak. They don't take any chances. Everybody's so afraid of the bad soundbite, or they're just, I don't know, so afraid of being asked a question they can't answer, they don't want to answer. And I take a really different approach to it. I'll answer any question. If people got, I mean, as honestly, as bluntly as I can, because it's through open, free information that I think things work better. And we've got no secret corporate agenda here. We're just, as I always put, a band of misfits trying to change a little piece of the world. What do people got going for lunch today? Is anybody else partaking? Hello from the terrible state of New Jersey. Well, there are some nice areas of New Jersey from a visual standpoint. But the Paramus Mall does not come to mind. Burgers, I like it. We may have to do a Burger Fest day, and at some point I want to do a live gun lunch, but it's going to be Scotch and cigar theme. Probably have to do that either up at the ranch or at my house. I don't think that would fly so much here. The company runs mostly remote, but I still do have people here. So today I got my little agenda over here so I don't forget stuff, because I tend to forget stuff. I'm going to talk a little about what's going on at SecureIt, some of the stuff we're doing right now. I've got some, I want, throughout the show, please ask questions. The purpose of this is questions and answers. I've got some questions that are common that I'm going to address. Industry call out today, be talking about how the gun industry represents itself a little bit, and how I think they could do better. And then our segment, which I call No Bullshit Business Insight, is just insight into business from, I've been doing this a long time. I'm not a out of the gate successful entrepreneur CEO kind of guy. I started off in an apartment with a cardboard box that was my office, starting my first business, and grew that slowly, sold it, started another business in a condo. I'd moved up a little bit and slowly built that, and struggled a lot for 15 years, 20 years. Started SecureIt then, was an offshoot of Greenline Data, my last company. Started selling weapon racks and did pretty well with the military. And then sequestration hit, and in the Obama years, and it wasn't an Obama problem. It was a legislative problem with sequestration, but that just about put us out of business. We just about lost everything. And as we went into retail and started building the retail side of the business, now we are, Inc. Magazine, one of the fastest growing companies in America. Things are going really well. So we're enjoying a nice level of success. I've got a great bunch of people, and we work well together. But my background is not like this, one of these whiz kids that everything you touch turns to gold. For me, it's been more of a long, slow grind. So I'm just going to take some time to share insights, things that I've learned over the years. There's a call out here for Cassandra Torrell, Durham Manufacturing. Hey, Cassandra. Durham Manufacturing manufactures a lot of product for us. They're a great company out of Connecticut. We know those guys very well, and good bunch of people. We got Williams, steak and eggs. Good man. A lot of protein. Scotch and cigars, count me in. We're going to make an announcement on that. We got to figure out how to way to share more video. Maybe you'll do that more of a Zoom type meeting or a Zoom type call. I don't know. I think it'd be a fun theme. But I'm looking, scanning just for any other questions. Again, if people have questions, please feel free to ask. Things going on at SecureIt right now. We're in the process of moving. Our central warehouse has been in Dallas, Texas for many years, and we're right now in the process of adding a warehouse in Memphis and adding a warehouse in Reno, Nevada, just to decentralize our inventory and allow us to ship closer, easier. Shipping, when you're shipping big gun cabinets and safes, shipping's a bear. It's difficult. So by splitting that, it's going to make us, so our turnaround time is easier, our delivery time is easier, and it'll be less money. Big news for us is product development. Handgun storage solution will be launched next year. Sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to say we're going to have this for Christmas, but the reality is we know what we want, but engineering, getting the tooling and the intricacies of making all the parts perfectly so this thing comes together and works is not something you can do overnight. And I'm the guy that pushes, say, hey, just get it done, just make it. Should take you 6 weeks. Well, it doesn't. It's a lot slower than that. But we have a solution for handgun storage that we think is going to be a game changer. And it's just going to incorporate a lot of how people live and deal with life when you own a handgun. And we're going to try to incorporate a fast access storage solution that is just more, it just works better for lifestyle. It just does more than just bolt to your wall and lock your box or lock your handgun. We'll be releasing more information on that towards the end of the year. We're not going to go crazy with it, but know that it is coming. It's going to be affordable and it's going to be a game changer. Other things going on. I've been out building, working on the SecureIt Ranch quite a bit lately. We've got 500 acres of land, mostly wooded. We're setting up a bunch of redneck blinds in it right now. I've got a bunch of tree work to do, trail work to do. We're cutting and mowing, and we just picked up a nice John Deere 5210 tractor with a bunch of attachments. So I'm hoping to incorporate some of that work into what we do on social media. It's a pretty spectacular piece of land. And we've got on camera, I've got a 10-point, we've got a couple of 6 points, and I was up there the other day. I saw the 10, and with my daughter just cruising around in a tracker and came across a group. I counted 7, but there were more. I just couldn't see them all. Bucks, all 4-pointers, which we're going to have a pretty hard rule of nothing smaller than 6-point. If you're taking a buck, we want to try to grow some big deer there, and the hunting will be very limited. It's not going to be a mass load of people. But bow season starts in October. Early October, it's a little too warm, but I hope to be shooting some live video from a tree stand. I'm not sure what the rulings will be there, because I know that with YouTube, if I go back and pick up one of these rifles, I'll get shut down immediately. They don't allow. That's just one of the things they don't allow. But here's Charlie Blanchard. Do you make or could you recommend a bedside handgun safe lockbox? We are in development right now for that exact solution. Only it's going to do a lot more. It's going to be simple, very fast, and a lot more flexible than your basic handgun storage solution. For right now, there's a lot of metal boxes out there that lock up guns. I don't know which one's better than the other. They all seem to be about the same. The important thing is make sure your guns are secured. Make sure they're locked. There was a story out of, I think it was out of Texas. A kid shot a young, I think it was 3 or 4-year-old, shot himself in the head with a handgun. He was at it was a family function, and one of the kids, it's a young guy's 18, 19-year-olds, I think, I may have this wrong, but and he had a backpack and he had a handgun in it. And during the course of the day, the little boy was playing with the backpack, came across the gun, and it's just, if you support Second Amendment firearms industry, it's just critical that we live our lives in a way where things like this can't happen, because it's these kinds of tragedies that they are preventable. But it's I always tell people, I talk to a lot of people who are first-time gun buyers, it's a change in the way you live. It's not just buying a gun. There's a lot more to it. You've got to take the time to do it right, or don't do it. Just reading through some of the questions here. Retrofit kit, Glocks for kids, love it. The conversion kits for safes is something that that was our first product, and we're so busy with cabinets and some of the stuff we're doing now, we don't feature that product a lot. That's going to change. We're going to make a big push on those, because it always comes back to the question of, I am now decentralized. I've got my guns stored in all the right places. Things are going, what do I do with this big old safe? Well, we do make a conversion kit to get rid of all the crazy little W's and the ridiculous interiors and convert it to our system. They're very affordable and they work really well. And that's something I'm going to shoot a video on it. We tried in one of our early test shows, to do a live broadcast of me installing the kit, just live. So you can see it happen. If I make a mistake, things went wrong, whatever it was going to be a live show. And YouTube shut us down because that's the first time I touched a rifle, moved a rifle, installing the kit, and they black flag, whatever they do with it. So we're going to try doing that again in a show where we probably have the safe, we turn the camera away so we can unload it, bring the camera back so we can do it. It'll be hokey, but those are the hoops we have to jump through. I'll go nuts buying your wall stuff when I build the gun room. The stuff works great. It's a lot of fun. I've got it in my house. I got it in my garage I use for tools. But it does, there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. Have you invited the Nuge onto the show yet? I feel you'd have a lot to talk about. I had a conversation with Ted and his wife. And I've been on. Shemaine Nugent has a TV show. I'm not sure if it's a web-based TV show. So I think called Simply Shemaine, and I've been a guest on that show. And I spoke with both Ted and Shemaine about designing their gun room for their home, and we did a set of drawings for them. I don't know where that stands. He's not sitting around. He's a pretty busy guy, and they have a very, very busy lifestyle. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition. I'd love to go down to he's in the Waco, Texas area, and build a gun room with him or for him. It'd be a lot of fun. He was one of my early influences when I was playing guitar. For those who don't know, in previous life, I was a professional guitar player prior to getting into business. And early on, Ted was an influence, man. He was the Motor City Madman. For live stream, for doing video, use brooms instead of guns. We may do that. Just use wooden dowels because we can have fun with it. We can, kind of get silly with it, and that might work out as a thing to do. I gotta get my vegetables too. You can't forget. My wife will kill me. So one of the things we're trying to do here, and I'm going to elicit the help of everybody who follows the company, who watches, who owns their stuff, and it's kind of based on some of the information Malcolm Gladwell put out in his book Tipping Point. And if you haven't read it, it's a fascinating book on why. Now I use the term pandemic. I'm not talking about sickness. I'm talking about information pandemics. I'm talking about fads. Why do certain things all of a sudden go crazy? Yeti Cooler sold coolers into the fishing industry for years. They're $500 cooler when Coleman coolers $39 at Walmart, but these are $500. They sold them for years and years and years. They started going into retail and they were in the space for a long time before anybody knew who they were. Then all of a sudden, one day, every soccer mom had to have a Yeti cooler. And they went from, they were a really small company up to 20, 30, 40 million, all of a sudden, 100 million, billion. They grew so fast. They tipped. Something happened and all of a sudden everybody had to have one. And there's a lot of things that happen throughout history where all of a sudden some information just spread like wildfire and the world changed. It happened with crime in New York and a lot of the big cities in the late 80s coming into the 90s. Murder rate in the 80s, 70s was really high in New York, and very quickly it dropped off. He kind of talks about that in the book. What are the causes of that? And when you go back and really look at the data, no big things happened. What it was is a couple of really little things happened. And it's that idea that little things, little changes can have a huge impact. And I look at Secure, what we're trying to do, we're not competing with gun safes. We are trying to end them. And not out of malice. It's just that they've been making the same product since the 1950s. They won't change. I've met with several of the manufacturers early on to incorporate my product into their safes, and they wouldn't do it. And we wouldn't do it either after I met with them. And so we've got a couple of videos where I talk about that. In fact, If you look at Kerry Trainer, his YouTube channel, and then John Bartolo's show on YouTube, I was on both those shows. We talked about it in detail, why we moved away from those industries or the industry, but they've been making the same crap forever, and it doesn't work. And you know that if you own a shotgun, rifles, an AR platform, maybe a small sub, I mean, they don't fit. If you anything with a pistol grip, they don't fit. Anything with optics, they really don't fit well. The materials they use are corrosive, and we demonstrated that. We've done a lot of videos, articles on gun safes and corrosion. It'd be easy for them to change. The materials that are corrosive could be replaced. They just won't. So we're trying to really disrupt this industry and just get a global switch in thinking. This concept that I want to lock my guns up, I need a big heavy safe, and it should be shiny paint and of old Western lettering and look like something out of an old cowboy movie. That's kind of what they are, and they tie it to this heritage of American heritage, the Old West, all this stuff. It's just wrong. It's the wrong way to do it. There's nothing about a gun safe other than the fact that it does lock the gun. But everything about them, they don't work very well. They don't hold them, and it causes corrosion, and you have no access. So we're trying to change that and bring our 20, almost 25 years of military armory experience into home storage. I mean, you guys, most of you follow me know it's decentralized storage, small, lightweight, modular cabinets that properly hold firearms in locations in your home that actually give you advantage. So we are trying to craft a message or messaging for the company to allow our customers to better articulate or better explain our system to friends, family, to people they talk to, because we're growing. Inc. magazine listed us as one of the fastest growing companies in America. We've spent very little on advertising. Our growth is word of mouth. It's all you guys. It's people who get what we do. They understand the difference, and they explain it to their friends. Now, when you look at marketing and markets and how sales and innovation and innovative products, market is typically divided up into the innovative buyers, the early adopters, and then you have early majority, late majority, and then laggards. The innovators, not only their innovation, like their design, the innovative buyer is the guy who stands in line for the next iPhone. He or they want the newest, greatest, latest. They love having being the first ones to have it. The next group in, the early adopters, they're right behind them, and they like when a new car model comes out. The guys who have the money, who went out and bought the C8 Corvette right away because it looked cool, they wanted it, they wanted the newest one. Then you get your majority of the main part of the market is called, I can just call it the mass market. That's the part of the market that when things come out, they're like, that's cool. And they wait. In firearm storage, I'm considered innovative. When I look at shopping though, iPhones came out. I didn't buy one. Probably they've been out for 6 years. I love my iPhone. I use an iPad. I use a lot of Apple technology. I'm not promoting Apple, but I tend to wait till things come out and are out for a few years before they jump in, because I'm part of the mass market. But the people using our product, you guys who are using this stuff, you guys are the innovative, the early adopters, the people who like new. They seek out, and they're willing to take a bit of a chance because they want that win. They want to be that first guy. Well, you guys are the guys that are people that are in the best position to basically explain this to the mass market who just are hesitant about new technology. What we're doing makes sense, I think. I think it's the right way to go. And certainly our customers tell us. I've got a lot of military experience that tells me it's the right way to go. But we're trying to come up with marketing and advertising message or style that allows the people who are excited about our product to help us spread the word, because there's a better way, there's a safer way to do firearms. If anybody has any questions about that, type them away. But you sell big, heavy gun rooms. Well, As far as gun rooms go, this one's pretty lightweight. I mean, it's not steel lined. It's not, the building is very secure. The room here is drywall, so I'm not sure if that's crazy heavy. One trouble I have trying to share your brand is the name. Bring back SecureIt. Wow, you go back a ways. SecureIt, as in Secure Information Technology. Would be interested in renaming at least the web address. Much easier to search. That's interesting because you go back a ways. SecureIt was originally SecureIt because my previous business was selling storage for laptops. And when the HIPAA laws came out, we were selling laptop storage cabinets that allowed the laptops to be all plugged into a network, charging, and they could update in hospitals. And we built a business out of that and got into weapon storage, and SecureIt became SecureIt. But the web is secure. Actually, if you tell people to Google SecureIt, just Google SecureIt, we come up all over the place. That word SecureIt together. I tell you to Google my name, but I can't even spell my name, so nobody else could. You need to get lighting incorporated in your products. We are. That is something that we are working on. We've got power going in. We're going to have lighting. We're going to make some improvements in our locking technology across the board and bring some additional technology into the locking to make just to make it a little more flexible. But lighting is coming. I love to throw a date out there, but I've got a bunch of people in product development that would wring my neck. But it is, yeah, it's coming. Hey there from East Syracuse. Oh, hey neighbor. I am up the road, literally. How far away do you estimate the handgun storage solution? End of first quarter. I'm hoping that we'll be taking orders for this after the first of the year. That's the plan. So I wish I had a faster answer, but that's just that's as best as we can do with it. But talking point today on SecureIt News, the big talking point is, what can we do to help our enthusiasts better spread the word that there's a better way to store guns. You don't need the weight. You don't need the ridiculous interiors. You don't need the drywall, the carpeting, the glue, all of which is corrosive. Lightweight modular storage is just so much easier to live with. And we've talked about every year the number goes down. The number of years between moves for the average American, right around the 6.3 years. About in 2013, 14, it was every 11 years. And now we're down to every 6.13 years is how often the average American moves. If you've got a great big heavy gun safe, gun safes and hot tubs are the two most left behind things when people move, but they're very expensive to move. I've got a very good friend. In fact, we'll probably shoot a video on it. Picked up our John Deere 5210 tractor, pretty good sized tractor. And I bought it from a friend of mine who was moving, and he had a lot of land. And I was at his house picking it up, and there, I didn't get a photo. I didn't have my phone with me. In his office of his house was a Liberty safe kind of built into the wall with a big Post-it on it with all the lock combination information, how to open it and everything. I looked at him, he says, I can't move it. The moving company won't touch it. He was leaving it behind. And part of the price on the tractor was me sending some Agile cabinets to his son and to his house. So he'd have secure storage when he got there. But that's kind of indicative of the way things go. Dumping off this crazy weight. Here's the question. What about making a large door for gun rooms? Something 42 to 48, I'm paraplegic and would like to make it much easier to carry guns in my lap. We don't, we actually, this was a couple of years ago, looked at partnering with one of the door companies to make vault doors. We've been asked that before. It's what we would truly end up doing, because we don't have the ability to we don't have machinery that can make these vault doors. We don't. That's not what we do. We would end up partnering with one of the big vault companies, the door companies. At the end of the day, it's going to end up costing the customer more because we would be involved. We're going to buy it, sell, we're going to make money on it. We're going to have some time invested in possibly some development work on it. But there are some good companies out there making vault doors, and Midway USA is now getting into it. I know they're selling our gun rooms. I think they're doing vault doors. Fort Knox makes a good vault door. Those guys, I hit the safe companies pretty hard. I think they lack imagination. They lack creativity. They make a pretty bad product. Fort Knox makes a decent safe. I'm going to be brutally honest. They're double walled. If the single wall with drywall is garbage, I think, but double walled safe, they make one that's not bad. They make a vault door that's pretty robust. The room here, and you can't really see it, is we have bookcases that you can't tell it's a door, and they open up. It's not particularly secure. It's just secret. Our building is secure. But I do like those. Murphy Door. You look at those guys. They make a lot of book types of doors that are hidden. And I do think that you're better off to have a secret door than a really thick, heavy door. People won't even attempt to steal what they don't know. We've got questions. Other questions. This is a question. It's a comment that's been posted many, many times. I've been approached when I was at SHOT Show. I've been asked this. You cut safes in half, or we've seen me cut. You've seen the videos. I'm cutting a safe with a circular saw completely in half in about a minute, 20 seconds. I'm going to cut a hole in the side. And the question is, well, what about your safes? Are your safes saw-proof? The answer is no, they're not. They're not designed to be. Now, we made the True Safe, which is still available through Safe and Vault, a company called Safe and Vault. It's a double-walled safe filled with concrete, and that is saw-proof. You're not going to get through it with one of my saws. There's no way. But the safe was so heavy; it was outside the scope of what we did. So we OEM'd it to them. It's available through them. It's expensive. It's very heavy. We really made it to prove a point. But our Agile answer cabinets, yes, you can put a saw through them. The point is, they're small, lightweight, modular, so thieves don't know where to look, because a determined thief, a pro, can open a safe. I don't care if it's plate steel. I don't care what you got in it. They can open these safes. Most home invasion, most break-ins are not looking for safes. They're looking for drugs. But so we just think lightweight, modular, storm where they're not looking works better. What's the best way to prevent corrosion in an Agile or answer cabinet? This one gets asked more than I would think. I'm surprised sometimes. Clean and oil your gun. It's properly clean, lubricate a gun, and it's not going to corrode. And if you're not going to use it, if you only hunt once a year, you've got a cabinet with some rifles in it, you want to go through, I'd open the cabinet, pull them out every 3 months, and just do an inspection and wipe them down. I look at the bore, and in fact, I did just today. I was putting some guns up on the wall, changing some things around, and I went through them all. And the little 17 millimeter, I shot that in 2 years. Right in the top of the back of the bolt, I just saw a little spot, and I'm like, holy cow! And it's just because it was not oiled properly, and it's been parked for a long time. But just inspection, clean, and oil is the best way to do it, even in humidity. Properly clean and oil guns don't corrode. If you have a really high humidity situation, use desiccants. Don't use the heating rods. I don't think they work as well. Remember, when you heat the air up, you reduce relative humidity. You're not getting rid of moisture. You're changing it relative to temperature because you're warming it up. So the moisture's there. You're just making the air warmer. So a relative humidity instrument will show lower relative humidity. The moisture is still there. Desiccants actually eliminate it. So I would recommend those always. Then have you thought about a handgun safe? Yes, we're making it. And that's going to become, we're really excited about it. We think that's going to be our number one product by the end of next year. And here I am eating in front of you guys. Glocks for kids. Oh, they're talking, they're bouncing information back and forth, people. That's great. So I'm going to get into tech corner now. I'm going to bring on Stephen. He is, or we call him Wally. He is our, every company needs to have at least one Viking, and that would be Stephen. I'm going to bring him up on for, we're going to call this Tech Corner, and this is, what are the tech questions that we get? Stephen runs a tech department here, and he's actually, I'm going to throw this up. Boom, he's with us. And Stephen has been with the company now. You are the longest term employee with this company, are you not?
So far, yep.
So far? There's only one way that you're going to lose that. Yeah, the number 2 guys wants me to fire him, so no. How's it going, man?
Not bad.
Are you doing the same lunch I am today, aren't you?
Yeah, and I was trying to stuff my face, and because I wasn't sure when you were going to bring me on, so at one point I had a big wad of bread in my mouth. I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't turn it on right now.
Oh, I forgot. Guys, I'll tell you what. I'm not a big bread guy. I mean, I really don't eat much bread. I'm one of those guys, but the bread at Joey's is the freaking bomb. And I believe is this garlic butter?
Yeah, it is super melted. It's not, but it is really sappy. And for all the sports fans out there, our local basketball college coach, he likes to frequent that place too.
Mm-hmm. Bayham?
Yep.
If you're a Syracuse, I don't follow NBA. I'm $1,000 an hour to make me watch it. I don't like it. But I'll watch college. March Madness is fantastic. So we're talking about tech. What's popular question? What's the big issue of the day or the week?
It's always the same thing. And customers, if you're watching this and you've sent me this request, I'm not picking on you because I get it probably at least once a day. But I get, hey, and it could be any of our products. I've had the battery in here for a while. All of a sudden it stopped working. What's the cause of it? And it's change the battery. Don't use a cheap one. The Rayovacs, the Panasonics, I had one customer put a Harbor Freight in there and didn't know why it wouldn't work. And so I'm like, just use brand new alkaline energizer. You don't want to use a lithium battery because it's overcharged. It can hurt the lock, but just a regular energizer and 9-volt and you're all set. And that solves the problem 95% of the time.
That's, what's funny is I put a voltage meter on a,
and it'll show up.
Yeah, there were batteries that we got with something we had ordered. It came from China. Had these generic batteries in there. It was a 9-volt battery, 7.5 or 7.2 volts, and people will be surprised at the tolerance on things like that. But that's great advice and I always tell everybody when you're dealing with battery storage on anything, New Year's Eve. We have a New Year's Eve before the party starts. In our house, we go through, replace all the batteries in smoke detectors, replace all the batteries in my cabinets. I do it every New Year's Eve, and that's just because with especially with smoke detectors, those batteries only start chirping at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was guilty of the same thing. I have a thermostat in my house that takes little AAAs. I bought a big, huge pack of cheap batteries years ago. Had like 20 of them in, so I'll change it out. A few weeks later, I'm changing it again because they do lose power over time, and I started off with cheap batteries. So, you want to buy a fresh one from the store because I've also had customers that, hey, I tried a brand new battery. I'm like, was it in a drawer for years or was it fresh from the store? Oh, it's in the drawer for years, but I haven't used it. I'm like, I didn't even realize this myself. They will lose power over time. And it's something I actually learned because of this position. And I'm like, what's going on with all these batteries? But yeah, they will lose power over time.
That's interesting. It's guys, if you're into firearms, you don't buy the cheapest scopes. You don't buy the cheapest ammo always. You don't buy the cheapest gun. You buy the best you can afford. And we look at this when you're looking at this type of storage is that battery's integral. It's an important part of a home defense system. So Get good batteries. That is sage and sound advice. Anything else going on in your world?
Not much. Did a nice gun wall design for a customer. So besides the tech stuff, I actually took over the gun wall design from our sales manager because he was moving on, took on a bunch of new responsibilities, and I'd done some of the quoting in the past. So if you end up doing a gun wall, I'm the one that you're going to talk to.
The gun wall guru?
Not yet. I think that's still Ryan, but I think I'm catching up to him eventually.
That's cool. That's cool. And you have a sword coming?
I do. It's a practice sword for actual sparring, so it is not sharpened. It's made for abuse and hitting with.
So for people who don't know, Steven competes in what would you call that?
It's actually couple different groups, but it's heavy fighting and live steel fighting, where it's full steel armor with real steel swords. Sometimes the swords are rattan, which is kind of a solid bamboo, but the shields are solid. The helmets are really solid. My helmet is, I believe, 14 gauge steel, and I have a new one coming, and they're fully padded up because you take some pretty good hits. And
awesome.
I was watching one of them, and Wrangler Star was at one of the events in Europe, because Europe has huge events where it's like big, 15 on 15 melees. And I recognized the voice, and I'm watching the video, and there it was. It was Cody from Wrangler Star. I'm like, talk to that guy. I know him.
Guys, if you don't know Wrangler Star, it's worth checking out his YouTube channel. He does a lot of product reviews. He's a homesteader. He's done some reviews of some of our stuff. We don't have a relationship. We've never solicited anything from him, but I've watched a lot of his videos and actually learned a lot about things. And his cordless drill competitions are, I think those are his #1 videos. They're like, 5 million, 10 million views.
But, and it was his axe review is why you got the Gerber axe for last Christmas from the company, because he recommended that one.
Last year for Christmas, guys, I get this bitchin' ass axe and used up at the ranch. So, I'm out of water. So, all right, Steven, thank you very much for information. Guys, batteries. Buy good batteries. That will make your job easier, won't it?
It's, it'll take away half my work. I'm going to have to find other stuff to do.
There you go.
And
all right, Steven,
the stuff too. So if you guys call in, for tech support, you also might get Melissa, who's learning it pretty quickly also.
Yeah, she is. She's sharp as a tack too.
Yeah, she's really bright. All right.
Oh, she can knock you out for longest employee. It's not, I don't know.
It may happen. She's so I got competition.
There you go. All right, man. I will talk to you next week. And actually, I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Well, people, it looks like we're miles apart. Steven is, about 13 feet from me, over 2 offices?
Yep.
So it looks like we're like on other sides of the world. All right, Steven. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Sound advice. Steven's a good guy. He's he did some tours in the Middle East, and he's been with us for a long time. And if you've got tech issues, you know him because he takes care of you. A lot of stuff coming in. Provide a list of recommended batteries. Oh, I'm getting my water glass refilled. Some of you heard me. Recommended batteries. Steven, what do you got for recommended batteries? Just
Energizers.
Duracell?
Duracell had a weird thing with bulk packs from Costco.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We did run into that. Duracell, the Duracell sold through Costco bulk packs on the meter were fluctuating a lot. It was surprising. Energizers, we've never had an issue with them. We have no relationship with Energizer. But it's funny. There's thank you, sir. The comment stream has got a lot of people bouncing back and forth. That's pretty funny. So they bought an Agile Pro. The divider for the large bin is too large. They haven't sent it yet. Kevin, I'm going to do this. I'm doing a screenshot, Mr. Williams, and I will personally make sure that gets taken care of. I'm not sure. I wonder, because we changed, there was a change in those bins. And if you've got a divider from a Gen 1 using a Gen 2 bin or something, but I just did a snapshot of it, and I'll make sure it gets taken care of today. So let's move on to industry call out, something I do every week or every other week we do the show. Something that the industry wants us to change. And today I want to talk a little bit about Second Amendment. There are a lot of people that I know that are not in the industry, around the industry, part of the industry, who really think that it's a lost cause, that Second Amendment's going away, and that they think it's possibly not stoppable. I disagree. When I look at some of the things that go on, whenever there's a 2A issue in the news, why is it that Tucker Carlson or CNN or whoever it is, they get somebody to speak? And I'm pulling this, John Bartolo, check out his podcast. He talks about this all the time. They always have an ex-Navy SEAL or retired policeman. That's who, the big, nothing against ex-Navy SEALs. I mean, these guys are badasses, but it's always the badass, or it's a retired policeman talking about 2A issues. And they're both removed, I think. I have a single mom who has kids, owns handgun, owns a defensive rifle, and trains and is proficient and knows what she's doing. Why not have an FFL owner who's his financially tied to his business? His livelihood is tied to protecting this amendment. Why not get people that are more on the street? We're always SecureIt's a small, street smart kind of company. I wish you would get people involved that were regular people, not pulling in people that look good, or people that I think in a lot of cases it's just promoters and people just say, hey, if we want to talk about this, who have you got? And they grab somebody. But I love to see the industry. I love to see the firearms community bring regular people into the fold more, because it's at an individual level. It's the civilians, it's us that are affected by these things. And if these rights are somehow watered down or changed, it's us that will be affected by them the most. So industry call out this week is for people involved with this: choose your spokesman better. Bring in people who are not major celebrities, but people who are just have a critical, call it emotional tie to this, but it makes a difference in their safety and security. If you're somebody who's surrounded by bodyguards, it doesn't make a difference. But again, if you're a single mom, if you're a family and you got kids and you want to protect them, at the end of the day, safety and security is an individual responsibility. And it's up to us as individuals to take care of ourselves. But with the industry, I'd like to see them incorporate more of the basic civilian, the basic person in the talking points, in as speaking out and talking about these issues. And in our last segment today, check for any of the questions. Thumbs up on the call out. Nice. 2A strong because you're able to defeat the antis and okay, Tom, you should be in middle Tennessee. We live for our guns. As for SEALs, he's jumping here. I was in Special Forces 5th group. The news never has us. We don't have our own publicist. LOL. Hey, if you're in the 5th group, I'm going to tell you something. The 5th group, Campbell, that's my first major armory project with the Model 84 weapon rack. A little unknown fact, but we rolled out the Model 84 cabinet. SecureIt was a distributor of a Canadian brand, and they wouldn't work with it. They wouldn't make the changes we wanted, and as we went off, we developed our own product, and the product was finished. It was developed, and we had sold 2 cabinets to law enforcement. Our second order was an $870,000 contract to build the armories for the 5th Group. And it was scary because the product hadn't been proven yet. We designed it, developed it, we knew it worked, but it was not battle tested. And we went in there, knocked out those armories. That was a long, long time ago. So there's a Waffle House outside. I'm not sure which gate it is. I'll bet you've eaten there. Anyways, there's always a Waffle House outside of a southern base, that's for sure. So today's, we'll talk about business insight. We call no bullshit business insights. Again, I've been running this company since inception. I've been an entrepreneur. I've had 3 different businesses, and I'm not I touch it in terms of gold kind of guy. I've struggled for a long time, trying to keep the bills paid and just trying to keep the doors open. So I've been on every side of of running a business, from rapid growth to rapid decline to laying off your entire staff to hiring a lot of people. This applies to not just business, to leadership, it applies to life, but it's about making decisions. And when I talk to people here, question I like to ask is, what are the biggest decisions that you have to make in the next week or next month? What are your biggest decisions coming up? If you don't have a good answer for that, then you're not engaged in pursuing your own goals hard enough. You're coasting. If you don't have if you're not looking at any big decisions, there's nothing wrong with coasting, but don't expect, like, I really want to do something, I really want to get this done over the next year. Well, if you don't have any decisions to make, you probably are coasting. If you do have decisions to make, then it's what's preventing you from making them. And in business, when I talk about the speed trumps accuracy, make decisions fast. You can always correct. And that's a tough one for a lot of people, because people are afraid of being wrong. I see it a lot. We teach kids not to be wrong. Kids, they don't keep scoring games even because they don't want kids to fail. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's how you learn. But if you're faced with a decision, make it, knowing that you can always course correct. There's always a way to, if you're wrong, if you're off, it's not perfect, to do it. I always equate it to, if you're driving down the street at 60 miles an hour and you come to a Y in the road, you don't stop in the road and look at a map and try to start thinking. If you didn't know the decision was there, you make a choice, you keep driving. If you're wrong, you can, boom, course correct and drive back over and get yourself back on course. You might lose a little bit of time. If you're right, well, you're just going along your way. But if you stop, you run the risk of getting rear-ended, of just crashing, and now you're stopped and you're not doing anything. And you still could make the wrong decision. So business insight today is, when it comes to decision making, make decisions fast. Learn fast. If you're going to fail fast. Evaluate your decision after you make it, and don't be afraid, even if it's an hour later, a month later, to say, you know what? I'm not sure that was the right decision. Do some evaluation and then course correct. And you'll find that you can move a lot quicker towards getting goals done. Does anybody else? I'm going to get wrapping things up here. We've been going for just about an hour. Air pack. Keep it safe, gotta run. Thanks for being on, man. I do appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions for me before I turn off the cameras for today? Any question at all? That's scary, I know. I think things are winding down pretty well. Guys, it's been a good show. I appreciate everybody on. Had a lot of good feedback, a lot of good interaction here. Sounds like the same advice they gave us about land nav. You know what? It is. It is. But so many people hesitate to make decisions because they're afraid of being wrong. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong, as long as you're willing to look in the mirror and say, I was wrong. I mean, anybody here knows that I make decisions fast and I'm wrong a lot, but it's okay. You just course correct. Keep it moving quick. Keep up with the great product designs. We plan on, if people have ideas or thoughts of things they'd like us to look at, submit it. We always are looking to do that. we'll be back. I think we're gonna be back. I gotta check my calendar, but I do believe today's 20. We're gonna actually be back next week. And we're gonna have a special guest. Gary Melton will be on the show from Paramount Tactical. And we're gonna be putting together a promotion working together. Gary runs a very good training center. If you just Google Gary Melton, Google Paramount Tactical, check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of great videos. But he and I will be doing, he'll be a guest on the show next week. We will be live next week. Also, seriously, lighting. I hear you. I'm going to end this. I'll pick up the phone. I'm going to call over to product development and say, what the hell is going on with the goddamn lighting? Let's get it done. And they're going to start laughing, saying, are you calling again? We're working on it. There's more than just getting lights. There's a lot involved in terms of how do you power it and stuff. We're actually going to end up going to a plug on the outside of the cabinet to allow you to plug in something into the wall, and those little round little plugs goes into the cabinet, which powers up the cabinet. But there's some stuff involved there. It's not as easy as it's never as easy as I think it should be, but we are getting it done. Gary and Paramount is why I'm here. Well, thank you. Gary is met Gary at one of his training sites. Me and my boys took one of his training classes, and that's when I first met him. And he's the real deal. He's a good guy. He's a real good guy. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up for today. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week. It will be a good show. I'm excited to get Gary back on. We're going to have a big announcement, and it's going to be you're going to want to see that. Anybody has any questions, type them into the comments. This video will be posted up on the channel. Any questions for me, just ask, and spread the word. We're trying to, change the way America thinks about firearm storage. We want to end the stupidity of gun safes. They won't change. They're not going to change until it's, too late. There's a point where they're going to look over their shoulders and say, what the hell happened? But let's get people who are buying their first guns, people who are just unsure of what the best way to do it. Let's get them involved. All right, guys, everybody have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.